Everyone to please settle yourself down. Be at a place where we can start. We'll start with the prayer, wholeness invocation. Be receptive to the Most High and the Holy Divine Supreme Mother. Thank you for divine love. Thank you for divine peace. Thank you for divine love, mercy, and grace. I humbly invoke for your divine guidance, help, healing, and protection. Thank you for blessing all of us with a healthy and fit body, clear heart and mind, wholesome and correct speech, faithful and grateful soul. On all levels, in all directions, with humility, love, and respect, and full faith. Be receptive. We'll say the prayer for wholeness. I'm sharing the prayer so that you can read along. I hope it is visible. Be receptive. May I be a humble servant for the Most High and the Holy Divine Supreme Mother, with this whole body, heart, mind, speech, and soul. Put your hands in blessing position. May I show compassionate activity towards every person and every being without exception, in the higher, in the middle, in the lower worlds, and in all 10 directions. Gently put your hands in front of your heart in prayer mudra. Hallelujah. Shalom. Asheo. In full faith. Let's chant Om thrice. Om. Gently put your hands on your lap, facing upwards. Close your eyes, and we'll meditate together. I hope you had a good experience. So we are going to continue with the wisdom of the zodiac. We have been discussing and understanding the Vesak, the Taurus constellation, and this. I'm saying this for those in case someone has this question that why are we reading what we are reading? Because generally how we have an understanding in general, how people have the understanding of preparing is through some, like different techniques and then through meditations. Uh, so just understand that when we read, uh, not just from the mind, but from the heart, where we are just kind of imbibing the essence, the understanding, that itself is a kind of a meditation. So when we follow the techniques may have a certain kind of impact. But when there is wisdom and through that understanding, when there is like a moment, oh, okay, I understand. Again, there is a transformation, the transmutation that happens because that wisdom is coming through the knowledge that we are imbibing in. And this is, so let's say if we are using a technique temporarily to prepare ourselves, that that preparation may ward off. But when we have the essence of a certain understanding imbibed with us, it stays and it kind of changes something in us differently. So it's a more stable, and again depends. A lot of us, we just intellectually hear, it may not stay the same as any other technique, but if it is really making an understanding, it is like, okay, wow, I understand. Okay, wow, I understand. Then all that knowledge becomes a part of you, and then you by default live in that certain way. So that is why we are reading, and we are not just meditating. Okay. So we have been reading the past two sessions. We were reading related to the constellation of Taurus because this is a month where we have Vesak, the full moon in Taurus constellation, and that is on 12th for the Asia. It's midnight time, right? Closer to midnight or so. Yeah. So we read last time where we understood how there is aspiration, then there is direction. So we read all of that. So I'm just reading one line from where we ended last time, and then there is a beautiful essence which I had to share from the same book. So I'm referring to chapter 18, volume 1 of The Wisdom of the Zodiac by Thorkom Saraydarian. It is the chapter, the title is The Golden Eye, Taurus, the Golden Eye, and I'm on page 275. So, in case anyone needs to know. So, last time when we were reading, we read that part that when we come to a stage where there is direction, that direction changes into will. And it mentioned that when we enter the path of purpose and will, when man, human being, enters into the path of purpose and will, he loses himself to find the self. It is here that the initiate is finally able to say, not my will, but thine be done. It is like as we go spiritually, it is like our will kind of starts getting one with the will of the divine. So we say instead of my will, thy will be done, as if, that's how we understand. Or let's say a different level of understanding, the initiate or that being will say, thy will, that is my will, be done. Okay. So I'm moving further from here. So this is already when a being has gone through that internal process where the person is kind of in alignment with the purpose or the plan. So on the path of purpose, the initiate tries to actualize the divine will. So when the person has reached to a state where it is the same feeling that let thy will be done. So whatever situation I am, whatever you will, that happens. So when we start walking on the path of that purpose, the initiate tries to actualize the divine will. He no longer lives for himself, he lives for the purpose that can use him. It's very beautiful when we evolve and reach to a state where we think that, okay, let thy will be done. We find ourselves that we are no longer living just for ourselves, but the person starts living for the purpose that can use that being. Now, there is a beautiful story that the author has shared. So, there is a beautiful story about when Lord Buddha was ready to enter Nirvana. So, when Lord Buddha was ready to enter Nirvana, there was the last tempter. The last tempter came and said to him, now, see, even at that stage, when Lord Buddha is about to enter Nirvana, there is a tempter. So you always, wherever you are, you will find that there will be a lot of temptations. There will be different kind of tempters who will try to temptate you so that you follow, off from your journey, spiritual journey. So there is a beautiful story about when Lord Buddha was ready to enter Nirvana. The last tempter came and said to him, Lord, you are really great. So tempters start by praising only, no? So that you hear. So it started with, Lord, you are really great. You have now achieved nirvana and you have done all that you could do. So he was just kind of saying that. And it's like Buddha listened to the tempter very carefully and said, until the last pilgrim finds his way to nirvana, I will stay with humanity. So nirvana is kind of state that he can be free, right? From everything. So he was trying to say, oh my God, yeah, you have. And he listened carefully and then he says that until the last pilgrim finds his way to nirvana, I will stay with humanity. So in this full moon, the full moon in Taurus, we must try to give fire to our aspiration, find our direction, and decide to live a purposeful life. So Buddha stays still with humanity because we have not found that nirvana yet. He will stay till the last person on the planet finds nirvana. And that is why the author is saying that this full moon, when let's say the Christ Buddha appears very closer to humanity, we must try to give fire to our aspirations, find direction, and we should decide to live a purposeful life. What purpose am I serving, What purpose I'm fulfilling? So try to decide to live a purposeful life. Christ said that the kingdom of God is taken by violence. Violence means to put all your physical, emotional, and mental energy into your striving. It is not the violence of killing somebody else. It is the violence means to put all your physical, emotional, and mental energy into your striving to put your heart into that direction. So if there is a violence against your lower nature, your lower thoughts, lower emotions, lower tendencies, selfish needs, selfish wants. We are told that when the sun is in Taurus, it is the time to make a breakthrough in consciousness and beingness. So when sun is in Taurus, it is the time for the entire humanity, the entire human race, to make a breakthrough in our own consciousness, in our own essence, in our own existence, in our own beingness. This breakthrough is called initiation. When you have leveled up to where you were before. So if I used to be a very greedy, self-centered person, when the breakthrough happened, the initiation happened, I feel that suddenly I'm not greedy anymore. I'm not just thinking of myself. I'm like, say, more others oriented. So an initiation is a process of lifting your beingness to a higher level where you can see things in a wider perspective through more viewpoints, where you can serve more inclusively and have more mastery over your threefold mechanism. The threefold mechanism is physical, let's say physical aspect, emotional aspect, and mental aspect. So the actual understanding in general terms of initiation is it is a process of lifting your beingness to a higher level. So let's say if I talk about in the physical level, if my physical body used to be very sluggish, if there's so much of laziness and dullness, I will notice I'm more active physically. I'm not that sickly anymore. My body has more energy, more stamina. In emotional aspect, if my beingness has been lifted, that initiation has happened, I will notice that there is improvement in my emotional vices. Like I said, greed, let's say it's not there anymore. Or there is a higher degree of improvement. So if somebody who is very agitated and angry, a person says, oh my God, I think I've changed. I'm not getting irritated. I'm not getting angry. Somebody who has extreme level of fear and phobias and say, no, I think I don't have that. If there's an addiction, let's say I don't have, I'm free. I'm not no more addicted to social media and reels. I'm just giving an example. So an initiation is a process which lift your beingness into a higher level where you can see things in a wider aspect. So when you are initiated to a higher level, you have better clarity. You are able to see better. You can see things in a wider perspective through more viewpoints. So let's say initially, if I have a lot of ego in me, when the initiation happens and my beingness is lifted, I will be more open to other people's point of view. Okay. So an initiation is a process of lifting your beingness to a higher level where you can see things in a wider perspective through more viewpoints, where you can serve more inclusively, where you're not just serving yourself, your family, but you're more inclusive. Okay, if I am doing this, you can also join. And you have more mastery over your threefold mechanism. As if it is not that my body is choosing if I will exercise or not, I choose. It is not that my tongue is choosing if I will eat, what I will eat, I choose. So we have more mastery over our threefold mechanism. I'll not say I react, I respond. So even if I'm saying something that is harsh, it is not that my system and the words just came out. I am consciously still choosing to make that mistake, let's say. Initiation must be an experience in our life, especially during this month. So this month is all the more opportunity for all of us to level up physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. People think that to become a master takes millions of years. It's written in the book, by the way, I'm just reading it. People think, like, generally we think, oh my God, to become master will take so many lifetimes, millions of years. The author says this is not true. Time is not the greatest factor. Tension is the greatest factor. And this tension is not the tension that we talk about tension. Tension is that, when you are expanding something, the kind of friction it causes. So time is not the greatest factor. Tension is the greatest factor. It is your tension, your holding of yourself to a great purpose without letting up, that determines the speed of your progress. So it is like with what dedication we try to become a better person. We try to live by higher principles. And when we try to live by higher principles, our lower nature tries to fight against. So that kind of attention is being talked here. So to become a master, it does not take millions of years. Time is not, that is not true. Time is not the greatest factor. Tension is the greatest factor. It is your tension, your holding of yourself to a great purpose without letting up, that determines the speed of your progress. So how much you do not let the involutionary forces, the material world to impact you. And then you still say that, okay, let the world do whatever, I will do the right thing. Let the people speak the lies, I will hold on to the truth. Let the people be unkind, but I will live by kindness. Okay. So that kind of tension that we hold, and to what dedication we keep on working on the process of, the progress, that decides, that speed up the progress. It is not related to how many years. There may be people who are lifetimes after lifetimes, more than millions of years they have lived, but still they are far away from becoming a master. Forget about master, they are not even on the probationary path. So the time is not the factor. To make it in a very logical sense, do you think any child who is just growing physically, automatically when the child is, let's say, 20, 25 years old, or 40, 45 years old, will become wise by age? Do we become wise by age? Do we become a good character person by age? No, just because I reached 80 years old, oh, I am just an amazing saint-like being. Oh, no. So what is the factor, the time? No, the factor is the effort, that willingness to work on oneself. You can be an initiate in one day. That's what the teaching says. You can be an initiate in one day if you pay the price. What is the price? The price is of all the lower tendencies that we have. You can be a great one in one life if you work hard enough. That this is why Christian literature emphasized salvation is today and did not put any emphasis on reincarnation. It is the same reason that, when we think, oh my God, we come after life, so it's okay, let me enjoy in this life. I will work on myself till that later. It doesn't work that way. So in Buddhism, we find a similar approach. Buddha wanted his disciples to work very hard so that they could escape the wheel of incarnation. If you really work hard, you can make a breakthrough in the higher realms. You can become Buddha, you can become Christ. It's all possible. Okay. So I'm just skipping some parts so that I can just come to. So the author is saying it is the tension of sincerity and decisiveness that makes the breakthrough. So the tension is what? The tension of sincerity and decisiveness. I am sincere and I decide that I will be a better person. If I have to put it in a very, very small way. So it is a tension of sincerity and decisiveness that makes the breakthrough. This is the meaning of taking the kingdom of God by violence. So taking the kingdom of God by violence does not mean that I'm fighting against people. It means that I am being sincere and decisive to be a better being, to be a server, to be a servant to the Most High. So that the prayer for wholeness that we do, it is the same. That kind of, when we are saying that, affirming that, we are developing that aspect in us where we can think of that, okay, I really want to be a humble servant to the Most High. Why? So that thy will be done. So whatever capacity you want to use me, please use me. Our trouble in the world today is that we know more than we are. We wish more than we will. We imagine more than we realize. I'll read that again. Our trouble in the world today is that we know more than we are. We think ourselves to be. So we think ourselves to be more than what we actually are. We wish more than we will. So it is like we are wishing, we have big dreams. I want to be the richest person on the planet, but I don't have will. I'm not putting that hard work. I still want to become lazy, wake up late, and then do not. I don't feel like going to office, and I want to be the richest person. So we know more than we are, we wish more than we will, we imagine more than we realize. Havingness and knowingness without beingness lead us into darkness. So when we have more, the tendency of having is there, the tendency of knowingness is there, that I know it, I know it. And I think a lot of us, we start with the same. Somebody, if any of your family member also start to say, you say, yeah, I know it, I know it. Oh, this book, oh, I know it. Oh, Lala, I know it. Do you really know it? So havingness and knowingness without beingness lead us into darkness, into separation, conflict, war, and exploitation. Let's say we know that we are made in the image of God, but that image of God is not in our beingness. We just know and think ourselves to be superior. That's it. So when what we know, and if our knowingness, there is beingness, how much it is in our life. So if I say that I am the child of God, connected with God, one with God, do I live like that? So that's not there in the beingness, no? So havingness and knowingness without beingness lead us into darkness, into separatism, conflict, war, exploitation. Beingness leads us into unity. So when there is more things coming in our essence, we find that there is more unity. Beingness leads us into unity, beauty, synthesis, spiritualization, transformation, and fusion with the divine essence. So when we are actually being and living with actually how we are in our true self, you will notice there is more harmony in your relationships. There is more understanding. There are less conflicts. As if you can see, okay, it is not that the friction does not arise. It arises, but then it transforms with better understanding because there is an openness to different viewpoints. We are able to see wider. So if somebody is reacting in a certain way, we are not just reacting or responding to the behavior, but we are able to sense, oh, what is that is bothering this being? So we see from a different perspective. We have a wider range of understanding. We respond from the soul aspect and not from the personality aspect. So what the author is saying, that in this month, when the Taurus, the full moon is there, going to happen in the constellation of Taurus, in this month, we must do our utmost to make a breakthrough. So in this one month, the best way to make use of the Vesak is not just that particular point, but the entire month, we try our best to make a breakthrough, to conquer our habits. So if you feel that you have a certain habits that are not serving you well, try to break them, to expand our love. All those who you feel that heart constrained, try to be more kind to them, to have beautiful thoughts about them, to try to understand the space from where that being is coming. So in this month, we must do our utmost to make a breakthrough, to conquer our habits, to expand our love, to be more inclusive and understanding, and to make our life more meaningful, not just for ourselves, but for others also. So this is what is required by everybody in the month of Vesak. After such a breakthrough, we will realize that the greatest light is within us, that the greatest teacher and leader is within us. So when we start making breakthroughs in our temperament, we will realize that the greatest light is there in us, the greatest teacher is there in us, the greatest leader is there within us. We will realize that in essence, we are the light, we are the teacher, we are the path. Once we realize this, nothing can obstruct our progress. But that realization cannot happen with a shortcut. We really need to put effort. So, like the way this is also part of effort where you are trying to understand what has been shared. And then you try to, okay, see what is that, how it is applicable to me, how can I apply it in my life? What does breakthrough means to me? What kind of habits do I have? What kind? So it is like you're not asking and waiting for somebody else to criticize you. And you are not criticizing yourself also. There is a difference. We are just saying, okay, how I can be better. So there is a more progressive energy that is there in us. We are not putting ourselves down, oh no, I'm so bad. Okay, so this is my weakness. How can I overcome it? And I'm not there to prove to anyone. I am there to be. I'm not here just so that people can give me certificates of how good I am as a being. I am here to be. If you see, each one of us know the best about how good or bad we are, right? How does it matter if the other person is giving me a certification that I am, that give that kind of crown is being given, but inside me, I know it's not true. I think the best example I can give, have you experienced if you are playing a game, let's say you are playing Ludo or Snake and Ladders or card games, and then you won by cheating. Have you noticed if you won by cheating, somewhere you don't find that joy? Even if you are a winner and nobody knows, but inside you, no way you can feel really good because you know you cheated. But when you win sincerely, oh, and that kind of, oh wow, see, I won. I'm such a good player, right? That is exactly the case in life. It doesn't matter what the person says. If somebody say, Kim, you're very good or you are not, I know my truth. Because the golden eye, the correspondent eye of the monad is watching me. I am in direct contact with the light within me, the teacher within me, the progressive aspect within me, which is keeping a check how good or bad I am. That's why people, when they do something wrong, a lot of time they go on the guilt mode and then they start attacking themselves. There is no point of going in guilt. It is not serving a purpose now. So if ever you are stuck with any of your emotion, any of your traits, just ask yourself, is this serving me? Is my guilt serving me? If I'm going and thinking about the past and what went wrong, is that serving me? Is that bringing in any kind of goodness or progress in my life or the life of person in world? And the moment you find the answer like, no, it's not serving, just try to let it go. And how to let it go? By doing something altogether contradictory to when you are holding it. That means whatever you are not letting go of, so you're not able to let go, just do altogether the opposite. So, how to say it? Let's say if I am holding on to one of my failures in the past and I'm not trying to, okay, so let's say I have been in a very, very corporate kind of a world and I do jobs and I notice that in my past organization or in this organization, I'm not able to perform well. And I feel so low about myself, then if they fire me, I'm not even trying to approach for another job, let's say that. So when I realized that if I am brooding on that part that, oh my God, I was such a failure. And when I recognize, is that helping me? No, it's not. So in order to let go, if you're not able to let go inside, I say, okay, I want to let it go. And the best way to let it go is I will give n number of interviews and I will take another job and I will try to prove myself wrong. I am not a failure. So when you will put actions, you will notice that that is automatically letting go of that aspect. Why? Because when you take action, you are exerting will. When you are exerting will, the will brings in another kind of energies, and then you put efforts and you get intelligence, and then you put blah, 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 and all that energies that was holding you back get transformed. It's very interesting. The author mentioned we fail because we do not have faith in ourselves, because we do not know what we essentially are. And I think that's why the parents or the friends or our loved ones who really love us, and the moment we are low, they are the first one to say, "Oh my God, you are so good." And then we say, "No, I am not." But they say, "Ali, you have such an amazing mind." They can see because they have love, they have no judgment. We cannot see because we are not trusting ourselves. We have judgment against, and that judgment blindsides us. So we fail because we do not have faith in ourselves, because we do not know what we essentially are. We commit the gravest sin the moment we lose faith in ourselves or doubt ourselves. So people talk about sin, sinner. It is the greatest sin we do against our own self when we lose faith in ourselves or we doubt ourselves. So just imagine every time I'm doubting myself, I am committing a sin. Okay. The worst betrayal is to denounce your true self. So the worst kind of betrayal is not that somebody is kind of, being dishonest to you. The moment we doubt ourselves, when we are denouncing our true self, that is the biggest betrayal. Once you stop doing this, you will see the I shining within your soul like a beam of light, leading your steps into the sanctuary of the divine presence. So when you will stop doubting yourself, when you will stop betraying yourself by denouncing your true self, you will notice that you will be aware of the eye that is shining within your own soul, like a beam of light, which is leading you into the sanctuary of divine presence, as if you are already in divine light aspect where you know where you are going. So you are more, how to say it, you are able to perceive better, as if you're very, very consciously aware what you are doing, what you are saying, how you are using your life, why these circumstances are coming. Or if you're not able to understand why, at least you are being able to see the purpose of something good or not so good that is happening in your life. Oh, this happened. Oh, this is happening because this. So that aspect, opening of eye happens automatically when we stop committing sin of doubting ourselves, when we stop committing sin of betraying ourselves by denouncing the true essence that we are. All your values will change once you stand in that presence. So once you stand in your own true essence, your values will change. You will feel that you are living a different life, as if you have changed as a person. You don't think in the same way. You don't act in the same way. You don't talk in the same way. And before finding any fault in the other person, in the moment of any kind of disparity between the conversation, let's say, more than that being, you are able to see, okay, where am I not able to understand? Where am I not able to express? Or you are able to see, okay, this being is, there was a very beautiful experience that had. I was having a conversation with my mother, and there are always sometimes there are some people whom you really love, but you always find, and you find at times that you are saying something and it is not reaching them properly, or as if you're not able to express yourself well or whatever. So when me and her was having a conversation, the beautiful light that dawn is that we are speaking different language. It is as if we are speaking different language. So we feel it is the same Hindi or English or Urdu or Tamil, whatever. But the fact is, We are speaking totally different language. So the idea came, how about there is an essence of universal language in me? Yes or no? If I have universal language as a strength in me, then no matter where I am, I will be able to communicate. And it is not restricted to the language. Okay. So then another aspect came in. Then what is the universal language? So my mom shared when she was like, I said, let's sit with that. Let's sit and, like meditate and see what is a universal language? How does it feel like? It's so beautiful. It's mentioned like love. She said the same. She said, Kim, when I was trying it, I was just getting love, nothing else. I said, there it is. There it is. But not that love that we understand the love is blind. This is the love with compassionate understanding. It is the same, when we have love in us, that's how the parents understand the newborn who is babbling. And how you have seen the toddlers, they have not tried to speak properly. So when they say anything, you say, what is the person saying? I'm not able to understand. Then you call the father or the mother, can you please decode? And they can very sweetly decode. Why? Because of the love. The love that the parent has in the heart for the child. Make the parent understand everything, all the blah, 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 and they understand, but you do not. So the universal language, so if we have that aspect in us, it does not matter which age, which religion, which language person you are talking to, you will find a way to communicate what you have to, right? And it is so beautiful. So all your values will change when you stand in that presence. And then beautiful expression is, I have goosebumps reading it. People receive zodiacal energies through their various centers according to their level of consciousness and evolution. So every time there is full moon in a certain zodiac constellation, people receive those zodiacal energies through their centers, through our energy centers, let's say chakras, energy centers according to their level of consciousness and evolution. So, what kind of energy I will receive, I'll be able to imbibe from that zodiacal uh, energy is depending on what level of consciousness and evolution I am. The majority of people absorb the zodiacal energies through their solar plexus center. So majority, because it is solar plexus, we say no, that's how the head of the masses live by. It is like solar plexus where the emotions, lower emotions are so much there. That's the same place where the courage is there as well. It's not that this is all bad. It always have, but most of the times, so it is like people are very emotional. That's how we retaliate and we react. And on the social media, we just criticize behind the screen. Something people do because the emotions rule us, right? So the author is saying that the majority of people absorb the zodiacal energies through their solar plexus center. When this is the case, their glamours, their illusions are stimulated. That's why during full moon time, when there are more spiritual energies, accidents are happening, fights are happening. Already the fight is happening. We are very close to Vesak, right? This stimulation gives power to the lower forces or tendencies to rule their reason, logic, and morale. So we are getting the energies, but because the solar plexus is the one that is ruling, it impacts the logic, it impacts the reasoning, it impacts the moral of the person. That is why it is very important to receive the zodiacal energies through our higher centers. Because our higher centers can transmit these energies into the sphere of our ideas, visions, creativity, and help us move forward with greater enlightenment and service. But how do we choose which center will receive? That depends on which center is the most purified and ruling in our system. So if we live from the aspect of compassion, then we receive more from our heart. If we are ruling more from the aspect of service, there are people who are so much service oriented. Then we are there from the crown and the heart. So the higher centers, When we are understanding so much, it is like the Ajna Chakra, forehead and the throat. So we are absorbing more from that aspect. So in any time in this Vesak, try to have higher purpose. If you are being in that meditation, you are there in the Vesak day and you are participating, instead of focusing on what wishes I have to materialize, seek purity in you. The moment you are purified, all that you want to do will anyways manifest. So how about this Vesak, when you sit for meditation, just pray for that change. Like we say, no, Lord Buddha mentioned that I will stay. What was that word? Until the last pilgrim finds his way to nirvana, I will stay with humanity. How about this Vesak meditation? You sit with that prayer that Lord Buddha, help me. Help me to find my way to nirvana so that you can be free. Right? Help me. So, not from the aspect of lower wishes, they are already being taken care of once you are free from your own vices and limitations. We are made in the image of God, we are children of God. If we live in that beingness, there is nothing you cannot achieve or materialize. But when we say, bless this, bless this, bless this, it is a poverty consciousness which says, I am not capable of doing it, so please better you bless us and give it to me. It is doubt. It is betrayal to our own beingness. That's the biggest sin that we are committing to ourselves. So, all those who are listening, I hope that this Vesak, sit with that intention that may these energies purify all my lower elementals so that I can be useful to the Creator, to my actual father and mother. I think that's it. That's good enough for today. So thank you everyone for your openness, willingness. Over to Zen for the Om Mani Padme Hum. Very grateful to the teacher, Tulkum Suraitarian, his books, and very grateful to the organization who have given us permission to use the teachings and share. And thank you to the Trying This Blessing team for this platform. And thank you to each one of you for being there. Thank you.
Atma Namaste, everyone.
You have to stop the recording, sorry.
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so before going further, we have a small announcement to be done. As you all know, that Vaisakh is near, and Triangle's Blessings team have come up with very wonderful session, especially for the Vaisakh on 10th of May, and it is Light of the Lotus, Vaisakh Purification, Self-Love Ritual by Ritika Bhagya. So those who have been attending Triangle's Blessings Team sessions, she's the one who takes the forgiveness sessions for us. And this time she has come up with this wonderful session, The Light of the Lotus, before the Vesak on 10th of May from 7 to 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So she'll be joining us from Jakarta and taking this wonderful session for us. So it is a paid session and you can register for this session. The charges are nominal $4.99. And yes, go ahead and register yourself. We'll share all the details in the chat as well. All the details would be shared in all the groups as well. Yeah. So thank you so much. And over to you, Farzana. Thank you.
Atma Namaste, everyone. Thank you all for being here. And we've seen that the Vesak is coming up. There's so much preparation going on. And some of the things that we could do is to bless. So we're going to use this